Dominik Skutecký Art, Love, Fame Work. Dominik Skutecký was born on 14th February in Gajary and died the 13th March in 1921 in Banská Bystrica. A Slovak painter of Jewish origin is considered one of our most important painters of the last third of the 19th and early 20th centuries. He is the author of general paintings, landscape paintings and portraits. He worked in Munich, Venice and Vienna. Since 1853 he lived in Vienna, where he was taught by sculptor Meixner in the years 1865 to 1866. He attended preparatory school of painting the Vienna Academy in the years 1866 to 1867. He studied with professors Wurzinger, Egerta and Blas. The Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna was studying in the School of Historical Painting in Venice from 1867 to 1870. He spent several years in Italy. He was very talented in art and results in superior culture. From Venetian style passed to celebrate Slovak simple man. From Venice in 1889 he returned to Slovakia, settled in Banská Bystrica, where he lived for 32 years in a beautiful Venetian villa, where he also had a studio which is now a Gallery Skuteckého, with its permanent exhibition dominated by the image of a lady with a red umbrella. He created a number of landscape paintings of central Slovakia, portraits of important personalities of the city and workers in the area of copper mills in Banská Bystrica, market in Banská Bystrica, oil on canvas. In the painting we can see a dominant figure in the foreground. It's a dark-haired, well-dressed lady with a red parasol on her shoulder. She is wearing a black scarf around her neck and a long light brown coat. Next to her is standing a 10-year-old girl who is also dressed elegantly. She is wearing a hat. We can't see the girl's face because she is turned back, probably looking at the kids playing on the floor behind the lady's back. The lady with the umbrella's body is turned to the audience and she is looking over her shoulder at the female vendors. The lady is extending her hand to the florist on her left. The lady is standing near a large tent with sweets covered with a canvas roof. There are two young children in front of the stand. They are about 5 or 6 years old. There is a girl in a white dress and a boy wearing a traditional boy's dress with a cap on his head. Female and male vendors are sitting behind and next to the stand offering their goods. They are dressed in traditional costumes. In the background we can see a part of the Plea cone on the square in Banská Bystrica, the corner of Javier Catholic Church, and in the very back there are some buildings on the square opening into Kapitulská Street in Banská Bystrica. It is a beautiful sunny day, perfect for a stroll around the market. The lady is talking to the female vendors offering their goods. The vendors are in a good mood. The lady and the children are dressed as townspeople, the vendors are dressed as villagers. The color scheme is earthy. There are all shades of brown and grey, dominated by the red lady's parasol unfolded and laid on her shoulder. The painting market in Banská Bystrica became one of the most exhibited works of the author. Visitors can see it in the Central Slovakian Gallery in the villa of Dominik Skutecký in Banská Bystrica. The lady is most probably the painter's wife, Mrs. Skutecká, at that time the mother of 3 children, according to her black hair, hairstyle, profile. Mrs. Skutecká is painted in one of his earlier pictures owned by a private collector. The final, the most famous picture is owned by the Central Slovakian Gallery, is Margita Cholešová, artist's model.
Frida Kahlo was a Mexican painter who has achieved great international popularity. Her full name was Magdalena Carmen Frida Kahlo y Calderón. She was born on 6th of July 1907 in Mexico and died on 13th of July 1954 in Mexico at the age of 47. Mexican culture and tradition are important in her work, which has been sometimes characterized as naive art of folk art. Her work has also been described as surrealist, and in 1938, André Breton, principal initiator of the surrealist movement, described Kahlo's art as a ribbon around a bomb. Frida rejected the surrealist label imposed by Breton, as she argued that her work reflected more of her reality than her dreams. Her life was marked by physical suffering, started with the polio contracted at the age of 5 and worsened by her life-dominating event occurred in 1925. A bus accident caused severe injuries to her body, owing to a pole that pierced her from the stomach to the pelvis. The medicine of her time tortured her body with surgical operations, 32, throughout her life, corsets of different kinds and mechanical stretching systems. Lots of her works were painted lying in the bed. She created more than 200 paintings, mainly portraits. She had a great love, Diego Rivera. She married twice with this man and dedicated to him a passionate diary. But also a lot of lovers, men and women. Because of these physical conditions, Frida could not have children, and this was devastating for her. Frida Kahlo passed away at her beloved Bull House. She was publicly reported to die of a pulmonary embolism, but there are speculations which was saying she died of a possible suicide. The last entry in her diary was, "I hope the end is joyful and I hope I will never come back." Her coffin was exhibited in the Palace of Arts in Mexico City. The communists insisted on draping a red flag over her coffin, which caused a nationwide scandal. Frida wished to be cremated and the urn to be exhibited at her birthplace, La Casa Azul, which turned into a gallery. Frida Kahlo's fame has been growing after her death. Her Blue House was opened as a museum in the year of 1958. In 1970s, the interest on her work and life are renewed due to the feminist movement, since she was viewed as an icon of a female creativity. Madonna loves her style of works and she is a major Kahlo collector because she identifies with the pain and the grief. A Hollywood blockbuster based on her life was made in 2002. Self-portrait Frida Kahlo with necklace and thorns. In this oil painting, Frida paints herself in a frontal pose to enhance the immediacy of her presence. She has unraveled Christ's crown of thorns and wears it as a necklace, presenting herself as a Christian martyr. The thorns digging into her neck are symbolic of the pain she still feels over her divorce from Diego. Hanging from the thorny necklace is a dead hummingbird, whose outstretched wings echo Frida's joined eyebrows. In Mexican folk tradition, dead hummingbirds were used as charms to bring luck in love. Over her left shoulder, the black cat, a symbol of bad luck and death, waits to pounce on the hummingbird. Over her right shoulder, the symbol of devil, her pet monkey, a gift from Diego. Around her hair, butterflies represent the resurrection. Once again, Frida uses a wall of large green and yellow tropical paint leaves as the background. The expression of her face is stern, picked out by the wide joined eyebrows over dark eyes. The skin of the face and neck are brown. Her shoulders and chest are dressed in a white blues. Black monkey and black cat on her shoulder are expressing nothing positive but misery, disease, and loneliness.
Ludovít Fula was born on 27 February 1902 in Ružomberok and died on 2 April 1980 in Bratislava. He attended grammar school in Ružomberok, School of Commerce in Dolný Kubín and Bratislava, and he also studied fine arts in Prague. Ludovít Fula was a Slovak painter, graphic artist, illustrator, stage designer, and art teacher at the Academy of Fine Arts in Bratislava. He is considered one of the most important figures of Slovak creative art in 20th century. He was one of the founders of modern painting and graphic art in Slovakia. Ludovít Fula together with M. Galanta were inspired by the avant-garde of the 20th century, especially the creation of Picasso, Matisse and Cézanne. He lived in Martin, Žilina, and after the death of his wife in Ružomberok, directly in the gallery, where he also had a flat, then he lived in Bratislava. His work focused on Slovak folk art. Ludovít Fula illustrated Slovak folk fairy tales by Pavel Dobčinský. The gallery of Ludovít Fula in Ružomberok was built by the state as a gift for the artist's life's work. Ludovít Fula was awarded the title of National Artist in 1963. The author's motto is, "I knew that if one asks a lot of himself, he will accomplish at least something. If he asks a little, he might not accomplish anything." Song and Labor, Oil Canvas, 1934-35. This artwork won the Grand Prix at the Paris World Exhibition in 1937. The tapestry based on this image was created and it was awarded a gold medal at the Expo in Brussels in 1958. The image has a stripe composition and it is divided into 3 equal stripes. Each stripe represents a different story. The lower stripe shows a plugman plugging the field with 2 oxen. The oxen face the well located on the left, the oxen are in the middle and the plugman with the plow is on the right. The lower stripe's background is dominated by the brown color, the light brown in the center, and in some measure also red and green. These colors are the colors of the wall picture. In the middle stripe there are 2 figures, a man and a woman, standing back to back, working on the field, digging, hoeing, and we can also see a few bags of potatoes there. Alongside the stripe we can see a row of grey houses on both sides. Behind the couple there are some meadows and 3 trees are in the center. The color scheme is brown, grey, light brown and red with green. In the upper stripe there is an allegorical figure, a shepherd floating in the air. It's a song, a male figure in Liptovsky costume with a pipe or a whistle passing by the work and working people. On the right there are some sheep browsing in the meadow by a shepherd's hut, and on the left there is the city skyline, the church. This stripe is dominated by the green color in the center, surrounding the allegorical figures in the background and the red color on both sides of the stripes. This painting is one of the best works of the author. It's a celebration of peasant labor and Slovak people.
The altar of St. Barbara by Master Paul of Levoča in Banská Bystrica. The oldest part of Banská Bystrica, the area of the town castle, is created by several religious and secular monuments. The altar is in the parish church of the Assumption of the Virgin Mary in Banská Bystrica. The Church of the Assumption of Virgin Mary was built in 13th century in a Romanesque style. The most famous chapel is dedicated to St. Barbara, the patron of miners. The altar comes from the workshop of Master Paul of Levoča from 1504. It is located in the chapel of the north side of the church. It is almost 10 meters high, and it is the prototype of the main altar of Church of St. James in Levoča, which was also created by Master Paul. The master made the altar at a request of Krakow and Levoča Burgess Jan Torzo, who settled in Banská Bystrica at the end of the 15th century, and both are hired local mines. In the middle of the cabinet of the altar is a statue of the Virgin Mary with Jesus. Saint Hieron, next to her. On the left is Saint Jerome, doctor of the church, and on the right is Saint Barbara, the patroness of miners. Below that is a sculpture of Christ Almighty with 14 helpers in need. The crucifixion of Saint Peter is depicted on the left side of the altar. Below that we can see the execution of 10,000 martyrs, and lower the execution of Saint Barbara. On the right side of the altar, Saint Leonard frees the captives. It is followed by a scene of the martyrdom of Saint Ursula. In the northern chapel is located copper baptismal font. Master Jodok, masterpiece from 1475. Similar work is in Wrocław, Poland. The church is a national monument.